Kex here, welcome back to Nub Raids. Yes, I am just out of the shower. One of the final videos we'll have time to record on holiday. Someone left a comment in the last video saying, man, you should go on holiday somewhere without Wi-Fi. Well, that is where we're going pretty much for the last few days. So, yeah, it'll be bye-bye for me and hello to pre-recorded Nubkex. But for today, we're diving in and I wanted to be taking a big look here at a big champion, Turvold, who obviously we got during the guaranteed legendary event for him. Just in the last couple of days, I have built him up and I'm really excited to try him. In particular, I'm excited because, as you guys know if you were watching the channel recently, I was so impressed by Whisper. Whisper is one of like the revelation champions in the last couple of weeks for me. I guess last month or so for me, of just being so much better and more relevant than we ever really thought of her as a vault champion before. But she coming in as this massive single target damage dealer, you can check out the video with her and how strong she was in Hydra, or is in Hydra. And I wanted to basically take stats very similar to her and to replicate them on Turvold, who should be a very similar champion, albeit a legendary single target machine. So, let's dive in. How did I build him up first of all? As you can see, very similar to Whisper, he does have higher attack here, almost 6,000. I'd love to be able to push him up high enough to hit that marker. That would be super cool. About 6,000 attack, we got 42k HP. 2.3k defense. Hopefully that will be enough to keep him alive in Hydra, which is going to be the main focus here today, though I will show him to you in dungeons and in faction wars quickly as well. And quickly is sort of the operative word, because he's, I think, going to clear them really fast. 200 speed, have him at 70% crit rate, you'll see why in a second. He's going to give himself that extra 30%, 255% crit damage, so this guy should be hitting really hard. The only downside is not enough accuracy to land his weaken. But we come in, we take a look at him, his A1 is a double hitter. It does have a 75% chance of weaken, so that would be nice to have the accuracy, but we don't have that. Ancestor's Power then, he has the 3-turn cooldown, gives himself increased attack, crit rate, and speed, and an extra turn. So this will be difficult for Hydra. We're going to need to make sure, he's giving himself a lot of buffs. We need to make sure that we have a lot of those buffs from the other champions on our team as well, so that he is not many buffs ahead of everyone, and therefore being the target for the Head of Mischief. I will say, guys, I've already rebuilt Ultimate Death Knight into Stone Skin, following on from the video yesterday, from what I've been hearing about him, and I'll do a proper guide and look at him, Ultimate Death Knight that is, when I'm back home next week, but I just don't have the time to test him out while we're away, right? But with this passive, where he basically redirects single target hits to him, I believe that he is probably the best Mischief tank right now. Again, I haven't actually got to test it at all, but I will, and I'll let you know as soon as I can. It's a little while away, but he would be a really, really strong combo with Turvold, if so, because he would basically make sure it doesn't matter how many buffs Turvold has. Mischief is always going to attack Ultimate DK. Anyway, this is a great move. It's going to enable him to hit hard. I really like champions with the bonus crit rate on self-buffing because it lets you build them with less and really crank their damage stats higher. Juggernaut then, this is the big hitter, double hitter. Damage increases according to the number of buffs on this champion. This is just hopefully going to be super powered and just be absolutely nuking things down. Then he's 42% attack in faction crypts. For his masteries, we built him like this. So going into War Master for that boss damage and then just counterattacky stuff. Fairly standard really. So let's dive in. First thing to show you is I have been running him in my level 20 dungeon teams. Putting him in place of, I was running Ethos before. So it's a seer team if it wants to open. There we go. So you can see, oh, don't move her. No, don't move her out. Move me. There we go. So we're going in with this sort of team. Let's hit this. My Seer's not in the best gear, and I did just switch Brogni into Bolster recently, so that's one less buff for Seer to rip off. But the concept with this team is that Seer should one-shot the waves, basically, and if she doesn't quite kill them, like the one on the left might not die, didn't have weaken. No, it went down just fine. But if she doesn't kill anything, then Turvold should come in and sort of clean up the rest is the idea there. Never mind, we got through the 2 waves. Let's actually target the boss just to see this hopefully go as quickly as possible. The downside here is we're not going to have decreased defense or weaken on the boss when Turvold comes in. Well, we will have weaken, excuse me. Here goes Turvold. Bam, bam. He's doing about 90,000 per hit right there without decreased defense out. Not too bad. You can see Brogni in comparison doing about 7,000. Here he goes in with the A1, doing about little under half damage. Though bear in mind his A3, the Juggernaut attack, can scale up more the more buffs he has. We might get to see it if Seer doesn't have her thing ready to go. Oh, he got decreased attack. That's a pity. Well, he buffs himself up, and even with decreased attack, he did 2 hits for about 140k. pretty nice 54-second clear time. Not too bad, huh? Not too bad. So what I wanted to do then, again, before we dive into Hydra, is I want to see him in Faction Wars. So let's go in, because Barbarian Faction Crypt is actually open today. My arm is getting very tired holding up the phone already. This was a mistake. We're going in. This is my team. So we've got Turvold now with the attack aura. It's going to be really useful. We have War Maiden for drop defense. We've got Syl the Drakes to keep us alive, and she does pretty decent damage too. We have Yakarl the Scourge. Unfortunately, he is not booked. I booked him up on the test server. Can I show his stats? Here we go. I don't have enough books for him. I need books for Turvold Ultimate Death Knight this time around. But you can see his stats. He has 5.5k attack, 210% crit damage, right, and 224 speed. So he's not in insane nuking gear, but just to give you a comparison for Turvold, and then we've got Skytouch Shaman to just sort of, again, heal us up and all the rest. So we dive into this. Actually, move the camera slightly down. Swap arms. It's going to be tough. I'm going to be pausing the Hydra stuff and letting it go through, but we'll see how things go. So we come in, we get the decreased defense. The fun thing about this is Turvold, he just goes in and he just starts doing Juggernaut. He doesn't even care. I did a quick little test run, and there's something I noticed. He just goes straight in with the Juggernaut, but the really nice thing about it is that he does actually reset its cooldown whenever he gets a kill. So every time he kills someone in waves, he resets that Juggernaut, which is the really hard-hitting ability. So I thought, like, he's going to go in. Oh, no, he went in with his A1 that time. It still killed him in one single hit. We get on to Wave 2. It should be something pretty similar to Wave 1. We shall see now in a second. Yeah, there's a decreased defense. Juggernaut comes in and takes him down. Even though he's not built with that 100% crit rate, you could go in and you could set him to prioritize his A2, to buff himself up. I just thought it was interesting to see by default that he doesn't do it. But at least with the stats I have on him, it also doesn't matter, because even if he doesn't crit on one of the hits, he still kills them anyway, which is kind of actually hilarious. So here we are, we're at the boss. We just let him do his thing, basically. We get the decreased defenses on. Here he goes, he's actually buffed himself up this time. Juggernaut absolutely rips a chunk out of the boss. The boss is half dead. Let's actually target the boss. Let's see if we can get like a speed clear here. That might be a good idea. I can't remember if these ads heal the boss or not. I guess we'll find out. He's going in, again, about 50k per hit on his A1. And his damage is just going to scale up and up the more buffing champions you have on the team, right? Like, we don't have a lot of buffs here. He goes in with the Juggernaut, about 100k per hit, and he's just ripping through. Decreased defense is back on. Syl is slamming. You see 63k from the A2. From Yakarl, and bam, there we go. Turvold actually top damage, 1 minute 44. You might have seen when I was clicking into it, my previous record was 3 minutes. That was my record. Usually not that fast. Turvold has almost cut it in half. In fact, compared to our typical time, he basically has cut it in half. He's insanely good for this. He's so good. So let's go see him in Hydra, which is sort of the thing I really want to see. The thing I really want to see. Here we go. So we go into Hydra, and the team I have been running. Oh, yo, hang on. There's an Ultimate Death Knight team right there. That's cool from Dead Skill. That's 1 key. So it's 29.4 million to 1 key. Brutal. He's done it. That's nice. With Ultimate DK. Cool. So this is the team I use. This is the exact team that we use with Whisper. So you can go check out that video and see how it does. I think I've run it 2 weeks in a row now for Brutal. I think the first week we got 40 million. The second week we got about 30 million. So there's a bit of variety with it. It's not the perfect team, but it's still very strong. It can 1 key with Whisper. Let's see how it does if we put Turvold in instead. The concept of this team, we're going to have our lizard friend, Nekmothar. He's going to be providing us increased speed and decreased speed and leech. He's in a provoke set, a taunting set, so he can hopefully lock down decay. There's a bit of randomness there. We might have to restart the run a few times because he needs to just get lucky and land the taunt on his first hit, so you do need to restart a few times. Sissia, she's going to come in, AoE burns and decreased defense weaken. We're going to have Mithrala. She's going to give us increased attack, increased defense, and Hex. This is sort of the key. Especially, I think this is the thing that pushes, hopefully, Turvold to be insane. It makes Whisper really good. Is that Hex got buffed recently, and it now duplicates 10% of the single target damage you do to every target with Hex. So, for example, hopefully Turvold nuking a decapitated head is going to spread massive damage with Hex to the other heads. So we'll see. She also cleanses, shield, and strengthen. Typical Mithrala stuff. We've got Godseeker to revive us because people will die. And then we've got, again, I think another sort of key thing, Ultimate Death Knight, another good option here. Aboro gives herself so many buffs with her passive and her A3. I've got, again, a video on her. I think she's, again, is insane. she is going to come in and mischief tank. That there's so many buffs out that it doesn't matter if Turvold is self-buffing. We should be safe. Oboro should basically always be the target. So we'll go in. Again, I might have to restart this a few times. That's what has to happen with this comp because we need to land the provoke at the start. All right, let's do this. And I won't make you watch the whole run. We'll like pause and come back at maybe every 10 million intervals. We're going to target Decay, just try get rid of him. He's the real pain. If we can ever get lucky and have Mischief spawn in, but Decay not spawn in, that's perfect. So, okay, so we need to restart here because we didn't land the provoke on that first hit. So just to keep it sort of safe. It's nice and quick as well. I think he kind of needs to land provoke the first 2 times. It just gets you past, because we don't have block buffs, it gets you past that first poison cloud, which is just a pain. It just makes it more consistent. It's worth doing rather than going like 20 minutes in and having to restart then. Though that might happen, who knows? All right, come on, Necmo. You didn't get it. All right, I'll pause the recording and I'll be back. Okay, so we're back. We have landed the provoke on this head. That's good. Actually got lucky. Sissia successfully landed the burn and everything. She gets her extra turn. So let's hit this. Bam. Decreased defense weaken. Here comes Turvold. Oh, he's actually straight in with Juggernaut. Big hits there, actually. Really big hits. Let's move this down so we can see a bit more easily. And you can see there, mischief tanking is happening. Excellent. But yeah, he didn't. That's funny. So he doesn't actually buff himself with his crit rate by default. We might want to enable that. Just something to watch out for. Good, we've re-landed the provoke. That's good, that's going to be important. Head of Wrath is going to pop off now in a second. In fact, one thing we can do, well, you can see Turvold almost killing himself there with his counterattack. That's kind of funny. One thing we can do is that, again, we can take just a little bit of manual control here to make that start of the fight smooth it out a little bit. We can attempt to steal these buffs with Oboro. She hurts herself a good bit, but hopefully it should be fine. And yeah, that's, again, yeah, he's taunting it up just great. We'll put the Hex back on. Lovely. We will try to extend the burn on someone. It doesn't really matter who. I guess on Mischief, he's the most likely to outrun it, isn't he? Here goes Turvold, so we'll buff up. Juggernaut. Big hit coming in. 140, 150. Not bad. Like, we're really ripping through Decay pretty quick, all things considered. Buff up with the speed. Hopefully we get that provoke again. We didn't, but we should hopefully get around to another attempt. But yeah, not too bad. You can see how it's working. Let's actually again target Decay. Just try to focus him down. The great thing about targeting down Decay, if we can manage it, is that oh, actually he's under Poison Cloud, so we can't hit him, huh? All right, well, let's go for Mischief. Big hits on Mischief with Turvold's A1. Problem with hitting Mischief first is Mischief can get shielded, and that can be a problem. But the burn did expire, so we got to go with it. Bam. Okay, you can see the real fun thing about her with those counterattacks. You can, I'm pretty sure, land taunting set through the poison cloud. So we're gonna go for it. Turvold going in again. Big hits there. I like it. Oh, we get the cleanse off. That's unfortunate. I think at this point we probably just push to try kill Mischief. I think we probably just push to try kill Mischief. He's so low. Turvold's gonna be eaten in 9 turns. We actually got quite a while. No provoke right there. Okay, so that's a little bit unlucky. It means that it's going to be hard to kill Mischief, but we have the Hex on. We might be able to get the kill before Decay gets to cleanse. Turvold's going in. Oh, he didn't crit on the second hit. That's a little unlucky. That's a little unlucky. I think he might just get the shield. Oh, we got the provoke. We're good. The provoke is on. All right, let's start smacking this decapitated head. So we have Hex on everything else. Decreased defense is in. So we can see, again, you can see that Hex damage popping up from everyone else. Turvold's coming in for double 260k smacks right there. And that damage, again, just 10% being spread to the other heads. What I'm really looking for now is Turvold's Juggernaut hit. That's what we want to see. And see how much damage that's going to do. We do have decreased defense and weaken on. That's part of why we're hitting so hard. Like 80k there from Godseeker, really not bad either. Hex is reapplied. Big 400k hit from her. Oh, we only have the A1 there from Turvold. That is unfortunate. He didn't have his other moves available. But still, you can see within the space of this decapitated head, our damage has really started to, it's getting quite a bit higher. It's really not too shabby, huh? Not too shabby at all. The burn goes on. No extra turn. Come on, Turvold. You know you want to hit a Juggernaut on this decapitated head for the video. The counterattack from Turvold actually doing good damage as well. Here he goes, Juggernaut. 700, 650. That was over 1 million damage in one move on Brutal Hydra as well. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And again, what you can do, actually, this might be the way to do it. We've got so much damage. Maybe it is better to just always target down Mischief and really hoping for Mischief to reappear. Oh my god, he did. This is super lucky, actually. This is perfect for us. Mischief reappearing is exactly what we want. Now, the only issue here... Oh, Turvold's going in. Big hits. The only problem, of course, is this Poison Cloud coming back around is going to be a pain. Turvold's going to be eaten in 2 turns, so it might be kind of an issue. But we'll try break him out. And then I think it's giving you like a pretty good idea. Here we go. So the Poison Cloud, I imagine this is going to make it pretty hard. Yeah, Turvold's been eaten by Mischief, and there's nothing much we can do. But with Hex redistributing damage, you can see the damage actually taking up on Mischief. Just by hitting these other heads, we're actually going to start working down Mischief reasonably well, which isn't too bad. And once the Poison Cloud goes, Hex is still going to be on him, so we can still focus him down a little bit. It might be better to just try kill Decay, however, to make sure that we can... yeah, because we don't have Provoke on Decay, so just to make sure that we try to get in and get that covered. All right, I'm going to take it off auto for just 1 second. Again, going to target Decay, put some poisons out. Actually, need to be careful not to fill up the debuff bar too much. All right, because I do want to come in with her, and I do want to steal these buffs off just to make it simple. This might even kill Wrath, certainly very close to it. This is a little bit tricky at this point. I guess we do go for this, because it is going to do some pretty decent damage. God Seeker, I think if we kill Wrath, that's probably the play. He's going to do a big burst of damage to everything else, which is good. The poisons, yeah, and he's dead too. Fantastic. All right, let's hit auto. And we'll target Mischief. I should have made her do the HP burn. Ah, well. Bam, and Mischief is down. Fantastic. Okay, I guess the squishiest head then is probably the head of Wrath, who is dead. You got decreased speed, good. Let's just see what Turvold does now when he comes out. So at 15 million now, we'll just get through these decapitated heads, and we shall see. Juggernaut, bam, bam, not bad damage there at all. Obviously, he does the most against Mischief. So what we're really hoping is that we don't get the Head of Decay spawning back in. That makes things a lot easier, and we can just really focus down Mischief, and we don't need to worry about the... oh, I forgot about the shield. There we go. Talking is difficult. We don't need to worry about the shield, and we can sort of get the most out of it. Just by focusing Mischief down hard. You don't need to worry about Mischief eating you and then getting shielded and getting cleansed and things fall apart. Turvold in. Big hits once again. Fantastic. All right, cool. Well, there we go. All right, I think that basically shows how this is working. I will go through the rest of the run. I'll see you on the other side. And we'll see what sort of damage we get out of it. I'm going to switch on to Mischief. Perfect. All right, we're going to try just kill off Mischief now at this point. It is going to be a little bit awkward in terms of dealing with... Oh my god, look at those hits. He's just getting chunked. I love it. It is going to be a bit awkward with the with this head fearing us and stuff. We got no way to deal with it. We just have to be lucky. And unfortunately, Turvold does have Deterrence. I've built him with Deterrence, so that is going to get slightly in the way. Oh no, and Mischief is going to get the Poison Cloud, and we're not going to be able to deal with it. That's fine. We will probably just target down Blight instead. But as you can see, we're only actually 38 turns in. That's actually really good. And we've already done... Oh, not quite 20 million. Wait for it. We're waiting for it. We've already done about 20 million damage. Right, excuse me. Let's target this poisony boy. And I'll be back in a minute. Let's pause. And we're just back briefly. 77 turns in. About 14 minutes into the run, we have got that 1 key damage right there. So there we go. We actually got kind of messed up for a good bit in the middle, where Sissy got eaten, and then there was a Poison Cloud, and then the second Poison Cloud came out just after we got her back, but before we got the burnout. So we had ages where we couldn't do much damage. But hey, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, we're still got that 1 key damage so far. So be back, and we'll see where we are. Yeah, when the run is actually over, we'll see how far we actually go. All right, guys, there we go. We just reached the end. 48.84 million damage here on Brutal. Yeah, what do you guys think? For me, this is, I think, actually really impressive. Turvold actually did way better than I thought he would. I thought he'd be good, but I was so impressed by Whisper before. And her passive is so strong with the extra turns for fighting bosses. But Turvold has actually come through. Obviously, there's some randomness in terms of what heads we get and all of that. But he just did 16 million damage. He did a massive amount of damage. You can see Mithrala's damage is really high. That is damage replicated through Hex. I can tell you in like the run I did last week, now we only did 30-ish, 31 million with that one. But Whisper was like at the same damage level as Sissia and Aboro. They were all sort of neck and neck. Turvold he's doing a huge amount of damage. He's also done a huge amount of healing. That's just self-healing with Leech because he hits so hard. But yeah, 48.84 million damage on Brutal. Turvold is 100% a legit champion. 100% for Hydra. Like, I think he's actually extremely good. I'm going to keep using him like this. He's actually super, super strong. He hits insanely hard. I know he's gear intensive, but he just does so much damage with Hex. I do think that Hex is important just to get the most out of it. So I'd definitely be running a Hex champion with him if possible. But yeah, there you go, Turvold. He was well worth going for that guaranteed. I tell you, he was well worth it. He's amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed, though. There you are, Turvold. Almost top healer in Hydra. Who knew? I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.